Hey y'all, so I just wanted to show you what I'm up to real quick because I had gotten a brand new one of these ball fermentation kits, which are amazing. I'm sure you all understand I do not get paid to advertise this or anything. It's just something that really helps me out, that I really love, and it's affordable. You can use it for different size jars that use a wide mouth lid. For this little project that I'm doing, I'm going to go ahead and use this bigger jar. And what I basically did is I took some of my riper kombucha that I have here, and I put it in here. And this is partially because I don't have a ginger bug, what's called a ginger bug going yet. Okay, so I'm going to just take this ripe kombucha and, well, shoot, I gotta actually shake this up because it probably has pop. It's a little awkward doing these things with one hand sometimes. Okay, but I'm just going to pour some of it into this really ripe. Not too much because I want it to get a good start so I can add more later. And unfortunately, I did put this in the fridge, so it's going to take longer to get going. But basically, by fermenting this, I'm going to be able to actually increase the nutritional value while decreasing the sugar. Okay, because the microbes are going to eat the sugar and convert it into other things. Oh, I got an ant visitor over there. Uh-oh. But anyways, I'll wash this one. I'm not using the spring or anything. But what's going to happen is this is going to like let the air out. Now, you know, what you could do is just take a towel and put it around there with a rubber band because, you know, they use this for sauerkraut. So I'm guessing I'll get enough air that it won't be turn alcoholic. Okay, because if you take all the air out, it'll kill off the lactobacillus, and then the yeast will basically survive and turn everything into alcohol. Now, if I keep this going too long, it might turn a bit vinegary. So I don't want to leave it going too long, but I'm just going to get this going. And then what I could do, whether I had started it with kombucha or a ginger bug, is since the bacteria basically expel gas in their digestive process as they're turning the sugars and things into other nutrients, what you can do is you can take a clamp top bottle, and now I have like a bit of a mess over here. So, and I haven't cleaned this messed up area. I gotta sanitize all these, but these clamp top bottles here, okay? What you can do is after the fermentation gets going on these, before you finish the fermentation, you put it in one of those clamp top bottles and then you close it and it starts building up pressure and it like basically starts carbonating itself. And then you put it in the fridge to slow that down. You just have to be super careful when you open them because sometimes they can get like a little bit like explosive to the point where you could end up like shooting stuff at your ceiling if you're not careful. So you have to be mindful. Like I'm not joking. You have to like push down on the lid of the clamp top as you open it and just slowly release pressure. Otherwise, like I've had situations, or even like kombucha from the store. Let's say you open one of those up and it's been out of the fridge for a while. Like let's say you went camping. We had one that had spirulina, like green stuff in it, and chia seeds. And somebody in our cabin, like it pooh, exploded all over. Okay, so you got to be careful with live ferments. But then what you do with this, and I haven't gotten it started yet, but I did finally get a cabbage at the grocery store, and I just have a small cabbage, so I'm going to use a much smaller container than a half gallon. But you fill it up all the way to the top, and you have to let it wilt down and everything, and you want to pack the jar super duper well, and then you basically compress this down quite a ways, okay? And it'll push the cabbage down and submerge it, keep it submerged under the liquid. You gotta make sure you use enough salt. But this kit basically makes it so that there's gonna be less likelihood that your homemade lacto-fermented live sauerkraut and stuff is gonna develop mold. Okay, and then the other thing that's nice is about getting some extras of these plastic lids is like I once had a sauerkraut that I accidentally, it was like in the super early days when I started home fermenting, I just left it on the counter with a typical metal lid, except it was like different from a normal canning lid because it was the metal lid that came with the jar that I made it in. It rusted, it corroded the whole lid away because of the acids in this really ancient sauerkraut that I had on the counter forever. Okay, so that's another reason why I like these plastic lids to use with ferments, because I've just always been paranoid after that. But anyways, they're quite nice. They just have these little air holes so that the air can come out. And yeah, I don't want to keep babbling, but You know, again, it will get kind of vinegary, which can actually, if you want to make a vinegar for like cooking with, okay, or to make like shrubs with or something, it can actually be quite nice, because then you could literally make like your own custom vinegars. You know, I've also got some cherry juice in there too. But I'm basically just trying to get some antioxidants and things like that through my diet, because I'm not in a position where I can order a whole lot of supplements online right now, and I've got this very severe inflammation situation still going. It's come down a little bit, but I gotta just keep on top of it. So I'm not gonna let this video run too long, but if you're interested in, you know, doing some affordable at-home ferments, okay, where you can make your own sauerkraut, because the kind of like hipster sauerkraut companies where they have great recipes, but it can be $5 for just a little container of sauerkraut. And if you're actually trying to bring a bunch of live ferments into your diet, that kind of little dinky container, you can go through, two people can go through that in like 2 days or something, you know, or like, so this makes it so that you can choose your jar size, make different batches, and you know, it's real affordable. All you need is, for just sauerkraut, is just cabbage and salt, and then you might have to add a little bit of extra water to make sure that it's submerged in liquid. You know, when you salt it, some of the liquid will start getting pulled out of the sauerkraut, but you mostly just want to make sure that you're packing it super tight so that the spring is still staying compressed as the cabbage wilts down, and you have to have a high enough salt content. So look up a recipe, check it out. I think this, for the 2-pack, and this one doesn't come with the jars, is maybe like $9, but you can just use it over and over and over again. I've actually used this to make fermented beets that I used a mandolin to cut them in really thin strips, and then I added some orange peel. So all it was beaten orange peel, and it wasn't even salted. And I made it in one of these jars, and it just ended up making this really fascinating, zesty, just super nutrient dense food, you know? So again, this process is going to actually help me cut down the sugar content that is in here and turn that sugar into other nutrients, basically. Okay? Because again, I mean, those of you who follow me like on my primary platform know that I've talked about how B12, a lot of people talk about how, oh, well, vegans don't have enough B12. Well, because of the animal products. Well, people don't understand that the B12 is actually getting produced in the gut of the animals by microbes, and then like permeating through the flesh of the animal. Okay, so kombucha, for example, look it up, is really high in B12, even though it doesn't have any animal product in it, because, well, I mean, microbes, it's like, I wouldn't necessarily consider those an animal, you know, but they're creatures. But yeah, it's actually the microbes doing the work of converting other things into the B12. So you can take something simple like this, add some beneficial microbes to it, and then not only lower your sugar content, okay, because that's going to end up feeding, too much sugar is going to end up feeding candida if you have a candida imbalance, yeast imbalance in your gut, okay? So this is how you can, this stuff was already expensive, okay? This was like $4.50. I don't buy a whole lot of juice. This was like $4.50 or something, which hopefully it's full of nutrients, so I guess it's like, could be worse. But also there was the other kind, they had a disclaimer on it that said that it contained genetically modified organisms, one of these other ones from V8. So you guys got to start looking at the labels, because weird stuff is going on out there, okay? So anyways, I'm taking something that is kind of a superfood and turning it into even more of a superfood. Take it easy, y'all.